And I reached out to the mayor now because we went to high school together. I think I'm like 3 years younger, but I remember seeing him in high school when I was like a freshman. And I reached out to him through Instagram and I said, hey, my mom's trying to get a hold of somebody because the park that's by our house is a mess. And there's signs up that shouldn't be up. And he says, unfortunately, lack of better words, I don't get paid enough. Something like that. It's like an underpaid job. I have it on my message. So then I told my mom, ¿qué pasó? And I was like...
And it's also like the parks over there by Sun City and all that. There, you probably don't see homeless people over there.
No.
On the new parts of Indio.
No, not at all.
The other side of the freeway. Because that's where like the white people are, you know.
I make jewelry and my business name is Cositas Lindas. I got inspired from other businesses that made jewelry because whenever you see jewelry, you don't really think about how it was made. So it was interesting to see how to just make it.
I own Yvette Salon. I've been doing hair for 20 years now. A lot of our entrepreneurship stems from my grandmother who runs a citrus farm in Mexicali. And then our mom doesn't fall far behind.
Not far at all.
When I picked up my nephew today, I said, look, papi, there's a truck and it says Solis House Cleaning Business. And because that's his mom's last name. And then he says, why do all the grandmas clean houses? And then he says, except for my grandma, for my mom. He says, she works hard. And then Danica goes, housekeeping is hard too, Jaden. And he goes, no, but grandma works hard. She works outside in the heat and she's always doing stuff. And it's crazy how he already at this age, at my mom's age, because she's older now, how he even recognizes how hard our mom works. And it's basically, that's where
it stems from a lot.
Where we get it from.
My name's Lucero. I own and operate Sinfull Sweets. It's more of a group thing aside from myself. I sell iced coffees and desserts, cheesecakes primarily. It all started with the churro cheesecake bars that I had never seen before, except when my sister-in-law showed me from another business, Fancy Nancy, and I remember crediting her when I first made my page and like posting it the first time. And I go, oh, look at these churro cheesecakes. I finally got right. Their first sale. And then that's kind of how it started. And then it just kept going from there. But a lot of it did stem from my parents and my family. And I grew up working with them a lot from early on, 11, 12, 13 years of age. When I say I've done catering, I like to start from when I was 14, because that's when I did my very first catering gig by myself.
Wow, 14 years old.
Yeah, we had 3 parties that day.
Catering what?
It was a taquero. I think it was just a birthday party. There was 3 that day, and there's only 3 of us. My mom, my stepdad, myself. We all split up. My mom did a quinceañera that day of 250 people. I did like what was like a birthday party type or baby shower type, something like that, for 100. And my dad did a party of 50 people.
Then should I give you the 150?
No, hell no. Hell no.
That's
no,
crazy.
I did the 100 people. No, my dad didn't have as much practice. He did a lot more of the loading tables, jumpers, setting up. Yeah. And I did a lot of that too. I was with him for a lot of that.
So you have to serve like the tacos for everybody? And
prepping, serving, setting up, and then actually serving food to you. Yeah. Breaking down, loading it all up. That's everything. Crazy. Todo. Yeah. Making the salsas, cooking the carne, keeping it, everything. Yeah, I learned all of it from a pretty early age. And then at 17, I got my first like real job that I had to beg my brother for with Best Beverage Catering. So then from there to the year 2000 is when I started Sinfull Sweets. So from, I think, 2017? 2017 to 2020, I've been cooking. Well, no, earlier than 17. But 2020 is when Sinfull Sweets sprung.
And the beginning or after the pandemic?
It was June. It was Father's Day was my very first sale. I was 19 because my birthday's in July and Father's Day's in June. So it was a month before my...
Happy birthday. Just
thank
happened.
You. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just turned 22. Thank you. I saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I almost fainted.
Oh,
I almost fainted and I lost my voice. San Diego. It was in San Diego. So cool. Yeah, I was just there for the day. It was really fun. Everything was on the same street. We stayed on it was at the Padres stadium.
Oh, Petco Park.
Yeah, Petco Park. There we go. So that was really fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I seen them once at Coachella 2013.
Oh yeah.
They headlined 2013. It was really windy that day though. Like it was one of those
that must
windstorms,
suck.
and it messed up the whole. Like even some
no.
of the singers, not him, but Pharrell, he was complaining that he lost his voice. Like I can't keep singing. So he had like help like backup singers because like
he just couldn't do
eating
it.
all that dirt.
Yeah,
like,
no. Yeah,
sometimes you get
Coachella's
those.
rough. I've only been once. Like been, but I've worked plenty.
I wonder if that's when Café Tacuba went.
2013.
2013.
It sounds like around that time.
Because she was born in January. Oh, no. No, I went in 2012. Is when Café Tacuba went.
Girl, you went all the years.
No, I didn't. I used to
Danica
go
went
when it was
before I
easy to
went.
sneak in.
Oh yeah, back in the day,
Yeah.
it was so easy.
It was so
Was
easy.
the last you did go to the last one?
No, I went to Stagecoach.
Oh, Stagecoach.
Yeah, I'm graduating with the older crowd.
You could still go to Coachella. You could
Yeah.
Coachella's all ages too. There was
It is.
I saw a lot of people like with the little kids. I still think I don't know. I feel like if you take your kids to it, unless they're like a certain age, like you could take her because she'll know all the artists, but like a 5-year-old, like
When
the
they
whole
were
time
little,
you just take care of them
yeah.
and enjoying the show.
Yeah.
So.
When they were little, I would take them during the day
Yeah.
just to look at
Era
all the
una
art
nieve.
stuff. My 9-year-old was like 1 or 2. I would take him to get afters, to get ice cream, and then I would take him
yeah.
home.
Afters.
The last year I took both of them, we wanted to stay late because we wanted to see Ariana Grande
And Khaled.
and Khaled. And that was such a bad experience.
2019.
Yeah, there was a couple that was arguing and we got a beer thrown at us.
Oh no.
we happened to be like right in the middle of
What
it.
the heck?
So that's when I realized, okay, never again.
Damn.
At least not at nighttime.
And it was really cold. We had to buy one of those expensive sweaters.
Ponchos. There was a poncho.
The poncho.
Yeah, it was like $30.
Dang, not even a Coachella hoodie.
No.
So, let's go back to starting Sinfull Sweets. So, like, how did that idea come out from the churros? You saw that they were successful, or you liked the recipe, and how did that turn to Sinfull Sweets and all that?
It all started at my brother's house. He kind of let me destroy his kitchen when I found out what churro cheesecakes bars were, and it took me a few tries. I was there, I'd bake a batch a week or once or twice a week until I finally got it right. It was that and Oreo cheesecake bars. And nomás, igual, es que I've always been selling stuff. So I just always, you know what I mean, was thinking of how I was going to, put it together and actually sell it. So before it was with iced coffee, since it was Father's Day, you can buy a half a dozen with a tall can of beer of your choice. So it started with that. And that was really fun. But, there was a big demand for just the cheesecakes. I would get people who would order more than a dozen for just themselves, like a box of a dozen, 2-3 boxes for just themselves. And it started getting to where I'd have to bake over 30 trays at a time just to keep up with the demand. And
You were just
apart from
the house
that,
at that time?
it was just out of my brother's house. People would come pick up at his house, and I would just run outside and deliver it to them. And then it started growing and growing, and I had to migrate to my sister's salon. And people would have to pick up there, and there would be a line of cars like outside waiting, and I'd have
That's
to run
so
to each car with my clipboard and get your order. And then my sister, Danica, would be inside, my brother, my nephews, my mom, my dad. Everyone was in a little station. This is when it was to drinks now, drinks and desserts. And everyone would be at their station making a single drink or a type of drink because I started with the deadly cajeta to pair with the churro cheesecake bars. One day I kind of just posted if people would be interested in buying coffee with their cheesecakes, because coffee is just something we've always had in our lives and we've always drank and I've always loved. But I never thought I'd be the one to be selling it. I didn't think I knew enough. So I started doing a little research just for myself, and I found Death Wish iced coffee. And it's the strongest coffee in the world. And I still use it till this day. And it's the first one I ever used to sell. And it's still the one I use now. And it was kind of easy once one idea came to mind with putting the cheesecake on top and, seeing how it looked, to then gain other ideas similar to that. I kind of compared it to how you see in like well, not really here in the valley, but you see like milkshakes, y le ponen like a piece of cake and cotton candy, and you get like all like the madness of it. I like that idea, but not to that extent. Like, I like a good middle ground. You know what I mean? You're going to be comfortable. You know what I mean? It's a little messy, but it's not that bad. You know what I mean? So I kind of, that's the only real thing I could compare it to, is something like that. But I
the
like
name Sinfull Sweets.
Simple Sweets.
Simple Sweets.
It took me a while.
And why I like that design? Because it has like
the Reaper. The Reaper on it, reaping you, making sure you're sitting right. This isn't the first time I like came up with a business. The one before this one, and it was the same page, I think was Flower Street Sweets, something along those lines, because I live on Linda Flora, Flower Street. But that's not my style. And it never has been. And even before that, I mean, the logo was like a sunflower. It was like all cutesy. And I just like kept looking at it and I go, this isn't what I'm going to go for in the future, when this is like, because I knew I was going to want a business for myself, and I knew it wasn't that, because I tried it already and I wasn't really for me. And I started looking online, like name generators, to see what words fit with what other words type. And it kind of came about like that. And Sinfull Sweets kind of just stuck the entire time. Like I saved it aside and I kept looking. And I go, no, I'm going to find something that I like more, right? And I kept circling back to that one. And it stayed and it stuck. And everyone should send a little sweeter at Sinfull Sweets.
You're like one of the most successful, at least that, I mean, there's maybe more that I'm not aware of, but you're probably one of the most successful food vendors out here in the valley.
Thank you. Thank you. There's plenty. There's a lot.
I know
a lot more than I knew or thought.
They kind of exploded the scene recently. A lot of people started their business during COVID. And I love that support where people were going to people's houses. I remember ordering mariscos from the lady in Coachella. I know Papa Heads, he was talking about he started too, selling from home, like stuff like that. Like it's really inspiring, because sometimes you just gotta, if you have that idea, start doing it. And then social media, you know, like a lot of your desserts and everything looks so cool in pictures too.
Thank you.
So like your food's made for like
photogenic.
Instagram and TikTok, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of your desserts, I have a question. How do you like eat the pastry on top of the cup?
There's a little basket in the front. You got forks and napkins in the front. You'll be okay. yeah.
The little tapadera works like a little dish.
It's kind of like you're eating off a plate.
Little forks.
Yeah, you get a little plate. Just scoop it right up.
Well, you gotta you gotta make a tutorial how to eat it.
Because when I've only had, I think, one cheesecakes, and I didn't even use the fork. I was kind of just like
gnawing at it. I see plenty of people walking away just munching on it.
Yeah.
Different.
You could probably make a couple reels. Do you guys post on TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff?
Oh yeah. Danica helps me a lot. Danica started off my TikTok. Career. It'll be soon a career. I don't know. Some videos are getting some pretty good views, but
you gotta keep posting like daily, like 2-3. If you can, 2-3 times a day.
Yeah.
It sounds like a lot, because we're used to like a regular feed on Facebook, or you post 3 times a day, you block that person. Like, I don't want to see you. But on TikTok,
I've done that.
You post it shows it to one audience, and then you post another one, it shows it to another audience. It's not the same people. And eventually some people will scroll and see it, but you're just throwing little bit views here and there. They add up over time, you know, like throughout the month. I think last month I posted 45 TikToks. Dang. 45 TikToks.
Do you delete them or do you just leave them on? Like,
I just leave them.
Oh, okay. So it's not like Instagram where they kind of give you a hard time for posting so much on your feed.
No,
I guess it's different.
TikTok, they want you to just post. On Instagram, I don't post as much for the same reason, because like your followers do see it, and it's annoying. Like, there's nothing wrong if people want to promote themselves too. Like, that's cool, but I feel like also not too much. But TikTok, just think of it like you're posting on your story. Just post 2-3 times a day.
Yeah.
And people want to see the behind the scenes stuff. Not everything has to be a cool edited video. It could be you prepping, buying stuff at the store. Like, oh, here I'm buying, preparing for this week. Or I just pulled up the truck, set up, and we're ready. I don't know.
That's what I tell the girl that's been working with me. She's been working with me for 7 years now. And that's what I tell her. I tell her, you guys are coming into an industry where it's completely, it's so much easier and it's free. And back when I first started doing hair, when I was working at the Palm Desert Mall, I would go into all the other stores around me and hand out business cards. You know, people probably thought I was strange because I would just pick up conversations with people, like girls that were walking by. And now all you have to do is post stuff. So in my industry, at least for hair, I tell Andrea, she's my only hairstylist at the moment. I tell her if it slows down, it's our fault. And it slows down for both of us. And I tell her if it slows down, it's our fault, because in reality, all we have to do in this day and age is just post it on your story, post it on your story. It doesn't even matter if it's an old photo, if it's a really cool shot that you did, like a dark to blonde or a blonde to red. If it's a cool shot, just post it on your story, post it. And she's been with me for 7 years, and I was actually her instructor when she was in beauty school. So we've been,
wow, that's dope.
Yeah, we've been together for quite the ride. But she acknowledges it now, and she'll tell me herself, like, I know it's slow because I haven't been posting. And then I know when she wants to work because I'll see her posting and posting and posting. And for me, I have my mom. My mom's always like, no he visto que pongas nada en el Instagram del pelo que has hecho. And I'm like, Mom, I haven't had time. You know, when I was super busy, I had an assistant. But right now, it's just not that yet. Or I don't want it to be that busy anymore because I need to dedicate more time to my girls. But it's like, we have the world at our fingertips, you know, and we have to make the best of it because it's free.
Yeah.
Take advantage.
Take advantage of it before, because the algorithms change too. And like how Facebook was really good, and now like you almost have to pay to get some organic reach.
Well, they even said that, I don't know if you've noticed it, because I'm part of a traveling group of photographers and models. And in the group chat a couple days ago, they said that they're doing a subscription on Instagram now.
I just saw it today.
Yeah.
I saw it today. Two of people that I follow. It was on my notifications too. I was like there, and it's like, oh, you can now subscribe to I forgot the name of the person. So one of them, like a video editor, he edits like Justin Bieber music videos, Doja Cat, all kinds of stuff. Like this dude edits like legit, like award-winning music videos, and he just started his own subscription. I don't know what kind of content there is, but it's just trying to take away the Patreon or the like OnlyFans. But OnlyFans is not only for that. It started as like a crowdsourcing for creators. And I think Instagram's trying to, so you don't have to go to Patreon. You could just exclusive content on the same feed. So
yeah, because a lot of the models I work with, that was their complaint. They were like, no wonder they shut my page down, and no wonder they took my page out. And so I was like, oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, they're trying to take advantage. I saw one of the two people. One of them was charging $4.99 a month. The other one's $9.89 a month.
Yeah.
And the second one, the one that was $10, I don't want to say her name, but she does like social media marketing tips and social media consulting type things. Cool. So she's probably offering different things for services. I was like, wow, I kind of want to get into that because I mean, extra revenue for content or something. Yeah. I don't know. That sounds cool.
I have to start a food porn page.
A food porn page, yeah.
I remember
Sinfull Sweets subscription. It's just some, I don't know.
dirty cheesecake cakes. some drips and smears.
You do like advice, like business advice. Like people would love that. Like, do you guys get asked like often, like advice on how to start a business?
I get asked not the weird questions, but the ones you kind of for the food industry, it's kind of like you just start at one place and they give you all the information. So you kind of just have to guide them to the health department. So everybody wants to start any type of food related business, start at the health department, and they'll guide you and they'll give you the packets that you need that has all the information. From there, you can ask questions from there. A lot of people think it's I don't know everything. I referred to the booklet. Yeah, stuff like that, I think is a better way to explain it. Don't ask me for the health department address. Please don't DM me. Go to your local, Google. Whatever your nearest health, environmental health department. Yeah, look for the environmental health department for sure. But they have different.
No, I have. The other day I had somebody reach out to me, and it's a guy who I've acquired his services, and he owns a lot of property in the Coachella Valley, and I own 2 properties. One is my home, and then my commercial property. And my commercial property I purchased as a home and converted it to a commercial property, so it's no longer a home. I had to make it ADA compatible. So like the doors, I had to make them bigger for wheelchairs and all that good stuff. Some things I did get away with because they make it impossible. The city of Indio is the worst city sometimes to open a business. They will put every block and everything in front of you. Unless you're like Target or Starbucks or like a big name, then they will like give you tax credits. They will give you money. They will everything to like get you to come. But like small businesses, they want nothing to do with you, like nothing to do with you. I've gone to like city council meetings. I've gone to all kinds of stuff. And I'm just sitting there with tears in my eyes because I'm listening to them say like, oh yeah, we offer Target X amount of money to stay and they still wouldn't stay. And I'm like, I raised my hand and then they called my name and I'm like, how come my business isn't open yet? Like, how come I still can't open my business? You know? And they were like, oh. But so anyway, I had to this guy calls me up and he's like, hey, Yvette, what did you have to do to convert your house? And I was like, I don't remember. I said, all I know is that they wanted me to put a sprinkler system inside. They wanted me to do this and they wanted me to do that. And he's like, and did you do all of that stuff? Like, no. Can you imagine how much it would have cost to put a sprinkler system in an old, like, the house was built in 1960, I think. And how much, and the ceilings are low. Can you imagine? And he was like, oh, so what'd you do? I said, I just fought them. I fought them and I fought them and I fought them.
What would you need if are you working?
Because
electrical wiring or something?
Because they want every year, everything changes. So like when I converted the house into a shop, this is how silly it is. It had to have a tree in the front.
Why?
Because that's what the City of Indio requires. So they gave me a fine of $100 because the front yard wasn't up to code. $100 fine. Crazy. So my mom ran off to Home Depot, bought me a lemon tree and, stuck it in the ground. Yeah. And so I didn't really get to do too much to the front yard as I wanted to because I ran out of money and we just did with what we could so that we would stop getting fined because code enforcement kept showing up and they were like, you're still not up to code. But I did all the important stuff. I went through I went to the water dispensary something out in Thermal. They had to come and inspect and make sure that I wasn't using, because once it's a business, you're using more water. Yeah. So then you have to pay like thousands of dollars. But I forgot what we were talking about. I was able to give him as much information as I could.
Converting your house to a business.
Because he wants to do that to some of his, because he has so many now that he's thinking it's easier to convert his properties into commercial properties rather than to keep renting them out to people because he's having a hard time with tenants, that. Yeah. And so same thing. I just send them to the city. I give them whatever little information I do remember. And then I just warn them. I send them off with the warning, a little bit of warning.
And it's, when you do the modeling stuff, is that like a business too, or is that just like a hobby? Because you say you take pictures of like fitness models and stuff now?
Yeah, I do the hair and makeup for them. Oh, okay. I was modeling when I was competing because I competed in a couple muscle contest shows. Oh, that's cool. That's how I got into modeling. Now I joke around with the main photographer. His name's Brett Seeley. He's out of Denver. And he's amazing. I showed him and his wife my photography work. I just used to shoot babies and families at the time. And that's when I was modeling. And so he goes, you need to get into photography. Porque te vas a hacer vieja, nobody's going to hire you as a model. But with photography, you'll always make money and you're good at it. So keep doing it. And I was like, oh man, I really wanted to be a model. And he's like, no. And he jokes with me now. And he's like, you could be a feet model. Open an OnlyFans and be a foot model. And I was like, on my face. He's like, no, just stick to the feet modeling. So, but yeah, I'm very fortunate too, where I get to travel with them. Paris and Ibiza is coming up. Greece just passed. I couldn't make it to that. I've been to Tulum with them a couple of times. Hawaii a couple of times. And then I've got to take my girls with me to Hawaii one of those times. But the modeling is just a hobby.
And like what's going on like when you guys go to Hawaii or to Ibiza? Is it like it's still kind of like a muscle?
No, it's what kind of it's kind of like fitness, but it's more of a creative for creatives. So photographers, videographers, models that are into fitness, models that a lot of these new models that are coming on these trips with us have their OnlyFans. So it's interesting I kind of like it because it's opening up to different bodies and not just a specific, which like
different forms of revenue too.
Yeah.
Some people have an Instagram or a YouTube channel, or some people on Twitter too are doing good. Like
a lot of the photographers are moving to Twitter because Instagram is censoring so much of their work.
The pictures,
and it's not even bad. Like you can't see anything, and so the guys will complain because they'll be like, I can't believe they took my stuff down, but this is okay. And it's like a completely nude person on Instagram, and our stuff is more like very artsy. You can't see any body parts, but you can, but you can't. And so a lot of them are moving to Twitter because it's safer.
Twitter's the Wild West. That one has no filters, no
I
censors.
haven't gotten into Twitter much.
Don't get into Twitter.
No.
I think I made one once because someone tagged the business in something, I was in somebody's video or something like that. So I made one for that, but that's funny.
Nah, Twitter's fun, but that one, like, there's no censorship on it. But a lot of people just like, I started starting to see a lot more photographers that just like, they don't even post on Instagram. Sometimes they just post on Twitter because their followers will see it, they'll retweet it, And over here, unless you're posting reels, they're not gonna show your followers. Like, they're really going into that video format. They're trying to compete with TikTok because they're losing. I heard their Instagram and Facebook, they're losing like such a rapid amount of user base because TikTok's just dominating that feed. Like, it's just so addicting, just like
it's
scrolling.
There first.
Instagram's trying to kind of compete. I don't know, maybe with the subscriptions to keep people there, or shoving people's reels. Because I think for a while they were showing you random reels on like people you didn't follow. That was awkward too.
Yeah,
super random.
I don't know these people.
They were really pushing reels. They even the photographers started posting their photos as a reel with music.
Yeah.
And like a little something moving in the background just to make it a reel. That way it would get views because their stuff wasn't getting viewed anymore.
I saw this YouTuber, he made a video, he's like, I hacked the algorithm. And he was posting one sec. He was still posting pictures, but they were all 1 second.
1 second.
Yeah.
So the reels were
videos.
just like blowing up, and it was just literally just 1 second pictures.
Oh, no wonder. I've seen memes like that. They're for like 1 second.
It should be a picture, but they're literally making a video because
instead.
they don't get the reach. I don't know. It's interesting though, but like you said, is take advantage of the times, like whatever. Either you're on TikTok or Instagram, because you don't have to do all the social medias. That's something I learned too. Like sometimes you're trying to do it all, but it's like now if you focus on one or two and just go hard in those two, that's fine.
Try to grow it as much as you can.
I know people that only have one YouTuber, he only has YouTube, he doesn't have social media. He's like only YouTube. Wow. You just put out videos and that's where you'll find them, but everyone's got their own style. What's the next step for Sinfull Sweets now that you're dominating the streets?
Trying to change the streets. Trying to change the streets. I recently moved to closer to my home area, like my actual house area. I grew up here in the Valley, Indio, born and raised. Where is it? Por La Jackson and Date. So I went to, Roosevelt Elementary, the Thomas Jefferson Middle School, the Poly Pool was my go-to every single day. I
was the last Jahara class. There.
I went to Jefferson too.
Yeah.
When you guys were being born.
Oh my God. You guys were probably, yeah. There's been this a park issue, I think, for quite a while. This is like pre-COVID even. The city put up signs that, the weird signs really for a park. No roller skates, no skateboards, no bikes, no parties, no jumpers, no nothing. Literally no nothing. Soon after that, like the columpios were missing. Like what was that?
They fenced them.
Fenced everything
Whatever
up.
playground there was, they fenced it up.
Fenced it up. Like this isn't for. It was a big slap in the face of this isn't for you anymore from the city. It felt like.
Yeah.
And my mom immediately took her pictures. Went to the city, tried to fight it. They're still there, actually. Then COVID came around, and that's when they fenced it all up. And since then, it's been the exact same, that the park isn't in use anymore, except for people living there.
People living there.
They live there. You will
all
see
day,
the same,
every day. I live there, and if I see the same people every single day, they live there.
They sleep on the benches. They have their lawn furniture out now. Now there's more people.
It's more like a camping site, and the sign says no camping. So if we can't camp, why can you camp?
Yeah.
But I think it's more than that, and I think the city it should find more solutions or have more solutions or at least more resources, especially.
There's a big community. There's a lot of people that live around those areas.
Big. Oh, yeah.
I remember,
especially in that area.
Do they still play soccer and do all that there?
Oh, everything
They
is
do.
there. That's one of my big points too, is that it's so large and the city or the community has never really used it. We're the city of festivals, you know, there's always been something going on somewhere. And I've always been surprised that they've never used that park because it's so big. And it's not even just that park. It's the Davison Park where the soccer field's at. There's that little playground there. There's the Boys and Girls Club, the baseball park in the back, the tennis court in the back. And then it's the school connected basically to the poly pool and the rest of the park. So it's all one big area that's kind of just being neglected. And I've had neighbors come up to me now that I'm selling there and kind of asking me like, hey, like what's going on here? And I go, oh, I think a big part of me moving here is just to break the ice a little bit and to get people a little more comfortable to actually go to that area. Because people are scared or people give me faces and faces of concern to me. And I live there and I'm like, what do you
I'm from
mean?
the hood.
What do you mean why I'm not?
They gotta be scared of
and
me.
not really, not even. Because born and raised there, nada me ha pasado. I'm perfectly fine. Look what I'm doing. I'm still growing. You know what I mean?
You gotta put pressure on the city.
There
I'm down. Let's do
I want to
do a video.
I've
Let's
been
do a
wanting
video,
to do.
and then like we could use parts of this podcast or just even talk at the park, and then we'll record it. I have drones and everything.
Oh yeah.
And we'll make a social media post and tag all the city members because that's the only way they'll do it. They're not gonna do shit. If
I've been thinking of something like
just
that.
put the pressure on them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been trying to put a little more thought into what I actually want to say because it's not about kicking anybody out. It's more about resources and things being provided a little more, a little better. Especially we're getting heat warnings, like heat waves and heat warnings. It's going to get worse from here. This is just the beginning. And I think they just could do a lot better. The city needs to.
And the city makes so much money from like the festivals.
Oh yeah, to not even acknowledge it.
And they have the courthouse and the jail and all this stuff. Like there's so much revenue. But where's that money going?
They get I think a few years ago they got in trouble. Some people got in trouble because the money was disappearing and they didn't know where it was going, and then they found out where it was going. And I have a feeling, I found out through one of my clients. She's a school counselor at Indio High School, and she said that a lot of that Coachella, because you know they had their high school graduation at the tennis garden. She said that it's because Coachella receives a lot of grants because of the type of students that the families that those students come from. Yeah. And so the Coachella Valley High School receives some of the most money in grants. So they have a lot of money compared to the other schools in the Coachella Valley. And I'm assuming that the City of Indio and the City of Coachella also receives. And you can see the difference between the City of Indio and the City of Coachella. You can see that the City of Coachella actually uses their funds because that little tiny downtown is the cutest little thing. Beautiful. I mean, when I was traveling to take classes in Claremont, San Diego, LA, hair classes, and it was always like in a salon in the downtown area, and I would always be in awe. And I would always take pictures because it was like old, like cute little shops, little delis, little restaurants, like little, nothing fancy. And then I would come back, and my salon used to be in downtown Indio, and I would sit there, and it was dead, like there was nothing. Tumbleweed. And I would ask. I used to do the mayor of Indio's hair at the time, and I would ask her like, "What? Why? You know, I don't understand." And then we would go to Coachella to like pay the water bill, or to Sixth Street Coffee, or to the Dulceria, Tepayac, and all that. And we have literally sat in where the fountain is, and just like sat there for a minute. We can't go to downtown Indio and like just sit there for like. Nothing. There's nothing there. You can't even
look at anything.
So you can see it. Like it's black and white. You can't make this stuff up.
And the City of Indio makes more money because they have more citizens. Yes. They have more people. They have more businesses, and they get the Coachella Fest money and the Stagecoach money. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, but where's the money going? Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just all corruption somehow.
Oh yeah. Somehow, yeah. Oh yeah. And I reached out to the mayor now because we went to high school together. I think I'm like 3 years younger, but I remember seeing him in high school when I was like a freshman. And I reached out to him through Instagram, and I said, "Hey, my mom's trying to get a hold of somebody because the park that's by our house is a mess, and there's signs up that shouldn't be up." And he says, "Unfortunately, lack of better words, I don't get paid enough. I'm not in the office today, and it's something like that. It's like an underpaid job. I have it on my message. So I'm not in the office today, but
Figure it out.
But she
Yeah,
could put in her
crazy.
complaint.
But she can figure it
And
out.
I was just like, wow, all right. So then I told my mom, ¿qué pasó? And I was like, he just said we have to, you just have to keep going over there, and that, basically nothing was going to happen. And so I thought, well, it's all in who you know, but no, it's still not all in who you know.
And it's also like the parks over there by Sun City and all that. There, you probably don't see homeless people over there.
No.
On the new parts of India.
No,
On the
not at all.
The other side of the freeway, because that's where like the white people are. They
Yeah,
they
that's
keep
where
that clean,
that's
but
where
then
the
they
name.
try to,
That's where those stores, like, so you have Marshalls and you have Winco and you have the gym and you have all the pretty names. They don't
Yeah.
care
Brands.
about Jesus Yvette Salon and Sinfull Sweets and Irma's
Yeah.
Party. Like, they don't care about that. They want that area to stay good because that's where the city's making their money out of all that taxes money and all that. Which is unfortunate, because my argument to the city was, you were so worried about Target staying, yet my daughters go to dance here in Indio. I pay city taxes because my business is here in Indio. I went to Indio High School. Everything. The owners of Target, they probably don't even know Indio exists.
Yeah.
They don't know. They don't care. Their kids
care.
don't come to dance school here. They don't. They didn't nothing, and they were just, they didn't even know what to say. But it's not. You don't even have to be like a very smart person to put all that together and be like,
Yeah.
well, what's going on here?
Now that pissed me off too, because I went to Indio High School. I love like Indio. Like I even volunteered. I did coaching at Indio High School for 3 years, just giving back, and like I always like to support whatever I can, and like it does raise a question though. Like you literally see Coachella's downtown and Indio's downtown. Nothing has happened over the years. Like now they're starting to do something, but it's not even because of them. Because like other people are taking the steps, like
Are buying it
Gabinos, they're
themselves.
buying the stores, they're remodeling themselves. Like they're doing all these things.
Yeah, you told me there was a shop opening up where Jensen's is at, huh?
There's a few. Oh, Return of the
yeah.
Goods.
Return of the Goods is
Yes,
opening this
yes.
weekend. That's gonna
I'm
be dope.
so excited.
So I told
for that.
Danica, because I remember I said, really? They're going to let them open like that? I remember they said absolutely no, like no, none of those type of stores they wanted downtown. They were like super against it. So so yeah, things are.
Things are changing
Probably
because
changing.
there's new city council members, because now with social media, we're able to people get a little bit better. There's still things going on,
yeah.
but
Things to fix.
I think things are getting better. Just but they not know where the level they should be because of the revenue they're getting. If there was no revenue, like if all these festivals weren't here, I understand. Like, oh, we're a small city.
Some places have better than others.
I get it, but like you have the most profitable music festival in the world, not just like the biggest. It's literally the most profitable because it's 2 weekends, and all the money's going to the city. Like I don't know, we got to do something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely work on something. I'm down to help whatever I can.
yeah.
That's awesome.
We'll
Yeah.
put some pressure because that's the only way it'll work. If
Oh, yeah.
we call them out, that's when
Yeah.
they're like, oh, yeah, we can make time for that now in the council meeting, It always comes down to that. So thank you guys for coming to the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
The- the second time.
Wink, wink.
Wink, wink.
Second time, wink, wink.
Put all the links in the description so they can follow you guys, and we'll do it again some other time for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
No,
Sounds
I'm
good.
excited.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.